Okay, chapter 9. I love this chapter. It's talking about just remember. It's actually named "Just Remember Mistakes Are Inevitable." So to err is human and to forgive is divine. Understand that mistakes are going to happen in the workplace. The problem is when we make a mistake, if you as a supervisor, if your go-to is to start screaming and yelling at a staff member, I'm gonna tell you right now to your face that you are a child. You need to grow up and that you lack self-control. Bottom line. There's no other way to put it. If you can't govern your own spirit to where you're not screaming and yelling at people, it is unacceptable behavior to scream and yell at a staff member. And the reason why that's such a problem is because oftentimes the very thing you're yelling about is a mistake you've made before. Supervisors, you are where you are right now because you've made mistakes during your life and you had to learn from those things. Allow the people who work for you to make mistakes. And your go-to when they make mistakes should be, hey, come here, let me show you this mistake and help you. Because what you should do is take the energy that you use for screaming and yelling, take that energy and help your people be better. So I'm sitting in my office one day. I'm pretty new at this company. And when I come to work, I come to work. I mean, I'm a little work beaver and I want to do my best job because most people don't get up in the morning and put the energy it takes to come to work to do a terrible job. Most people want to do a good job, but understand mishaps are going to happen along the way. So a day or so before I'd done this thing we called a treatment plan for a client. And I was pretty proud because I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm not going to lie. So I did the best I could. I was pretty excited about it, right? I finished it in a reasonable time. So I think the next day, maybe I got an email about it and it said something needed to be corrected, but I was tagged in the email. I wasn't in the main person of the email. So I was like, oh yeah. So that means it looks like somebody needs to fix something and it's not me. So, okay. So the next day happened. I got the email a second time, second notice. I'm like, ooh, maybe I better go check this out. So I go over to the people sending out the email and I'm like, hey, I keep getting this email. I'm tagged in this email. Is it something I need to do? And they were like, well, no, not really. It's not you that needs to fix it. It's this person needs to fix it, but you can fix it. And I was like, I can? What should I do? So they told me, I wrote it down, went right back to my office, eager to fix it. Okay, I'm so excited to fix this. I fix it and I'm good to go. Okay, look at me. I learned something new. The next day, sit in my office in the morning because I get to work in the mornings, sit there, get prepared for my day, making sure my energy's good. I'm ready to help everybody that comes in contact with me. In walks the supervisor, and she's mad at me. Now, I want to tell you this. First of all, this supervisor, since I've been at this company, had never taken the time to even introduce herself to me. Wouldn't speak to me when I walk down the halls, okay? But here she is in my office letting me have it. And I'm sitting there trying to get ready for my day, and she walks in my office and she's like, sound like Charlie Brown's mama with the wonk the wonk tongue, wonk wonk wonk. And I'm looking at her like, huh? You know, and I gestured to her. I was like, hey, bring your tone down because I want to hear what you got to say. And all of a sudden I heard her say, don't you read your email? I was like, I do read my email, yes, but I still need you to bring it down. And then she said, you're messing with my numbers. And I was looking at her like, what numbers do you have? You got a bookie, girl, or a lottery ticket? What we talking here? Because I didn't know her numbers, right? And so she was so mad at me though. So I was like, hold on a second. Let me go get somebody to help me figure out what I did wrong. Because most of us don't get up and go to work and want to be terrible at what we do. So I went and found me somebody to help me. They came back, they looked at it and they said, no, you did it. It was like the therapist needed to do that. It looks like that was corrected. But then there's something else that needed to happen that nobody knew about, but it was something new. And so anyway, which had nothing to do with me. So listen to me though. So the young lady, after I got it corrected, I see her coming down the hall. I'm like, hey, can I talk to you? Because I don't care what your level is at this company. You don't get to come in my office and talk to me like that. I'm never going to work in a company that supervisors feel like because they're in a position of leadership that they get to scream and yell at people. Unacceptable. You're a freaking child and you need to grow up. I'm just telling you right now, you're a child and you need to grow up. So I said, hey, come in my office. And I set her in my office and I said, don't ever. And I had very stern words with her. Come in my office and talk to me in that tone. I'm here to do a job and I want to do it well, but don't come talk to me in that tone. So she and I had some good little exchange. She began to cry and I'm sorry and all that when she realized I was the wrong person, which it didn't matter if I was the wrong person. You still shouldn't have been yelling at people. But this is what my point I want to make. What if that girl comes in my office and says, hey, did you see the email? I know you're new here. Can I show you what you need to do to fix it? It's a different story. Why do leaders take energy to yell and scream, but won't take the energy to help people be better? Why? Why would we do that? Listen to me. Mistakes are going to happen. Take that energy that you would use to be mad at somebody and go over here and help them be great. I once had a supervisor, actually CEO of a company, because I was dealing with like grants and stuff, so large amounts of money, And so when I'd make some kind of little mistake, she would call me and she'd say, "Hey, this is incorrect, but we're going to use this as a teaching moment." It wasn't, "Hey, you messed up and da da da." It was, we're going to use it as a teaching moment. Guys, you have to use things as teaching moments. Now, if somebody does something so egregious that they have to be let go, why can't even those situations be handled with dignity? Why is the workplace just so toxic where people feel like they got to yell and scream all the time? I don't know. At some point, somebody taught y'all that was leadership. It's not. It's not leadership. And you need to grow up and stop that, okay? So understand mistakes are going to happen. How you deal with them. Prepare how you're going to deal with your staff when they make mistakes. Make it in your mind right now. I'm not going to be this person that's so mad because somebody made a mistake. Because, guys, people lose good staff members because staff members made one mistake and then we yell and we're mad at them. We're so upset with them, and it's just not okay. Last story. I worked for a company and I was doing the job, let's say about 3 people at minimum, okay? Definitely should have been 3 people or more doing this job. But I was happily doing the job because I was like, I'm going to work and keep it afloat until we can get somebody hired, right? So I'm working a little bit on weekends, which is against what I really believe. But I was like, I'm going to keep it afloat. I'm going to do the thing, working a little extra harder, making sure everything was in place, prioritizing what was important. So all of a sudden, I get a call, first of all. I think I got a call about something I'd done, which was registering somebody for a training. And I had emails from the supervisor being tagged and saying, hey, register me for this training. So normally a supervisor in an email is an approval until it's not, you know what I mean? It was, at my point, the way I viewed it was because, hey, it was allowed before. So I'd registered this person for training, and the day before the training, I get a call. Well, who registered? Who approved it? And I was like, well, I registered, and I thought they were approved because I saw the email with the supervisor tagged on 4 or 5 emails. And then all of a sudden, I get a call from my supervisor telling me about how they wanted to do some documentation on me because I'd done this. And I was like, really? Like, I've done this all the time. This is not the first time I've done this. We've done this over and over. But now we want to do a documentation, which is similar to a write-up. It's like one level below. And I'm like, absolutely not. Because guess what, guys? While I'm doing all this extra work and working extra hours, nobody's saying to me, Lasagna, we know you're over there program by yourself, and so we're going to get you some extra help. Nobody's saying you're doing a good job keeping things afloat. Nobody's saying that. But then when I make a mistake, all of a sudden now we want to do a supervisor on you. Nobody said, hey, we know you've been here about 9 years and you haven't ever had a write-up or coaching or anything. Nobody said that. But when you make one mistake, now we want to pounce on this one mistake. And this tells you what the mindset sometimes of leaders. And I was like, y'all got to be kidding me. So I sent my supervisor all the emails and he was like, oh, no. Okay. They come back. The leaders come back. No, we want to do it because we know she's made this mistake before. We know she's made this mistake before. And I was like, show me in writing. Well, I remember it happened a long time ago. What? This is what happens to some of the most valuable employees that people have. Supervisors will get mad about one mistake and want to pounce on that one mistake and make it such a big deal. And I kid you not, that day, I put in my notice. And I was like, oh no. Because when the stress, because we all have stresses on jobs. When the stress from the supervisor or the stress from coworkers become greater than the actual job I'm having to do, that for me usually is a signal that maybe this is not the company for me. And for me, that's what happened. I literally was like, oh, what? I made one mistake, the $76 mistake, take it out of my check. No, we want to do it right up. We want to do a note on you, documentation. Listen, people, the people that work for you are going to make mistakes. I need you to be careful, because good people are leaving companies because they've made a mistake, which all of you as leaders have made. You've all made the mistake. But then now when your person that works for you makes a mistake, you want to jump on them like there's no end. But oftentimes you jump on people, but when they're doing a great job and going the extra mile, you're not rewarding them. And that's the problem. And so remember, mistakes are inevitable. To make no mistake is not in the power of man. But from their errors and mistakes, the wise and good learn wisdom for the future. The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you'll make one. So I'm telling you, you're going to make mistakes. Okay? All right. Hopefully y'all having a great day, because I am. And to God be the glory.